The new ad-mech Tangida has joined Tacticus. Today we'll look at whether they should be joining your team or just left in the dustbin. Hello everyone and welcome to another installation of our series, Does This Character Do Anything? The character in question today is the third Adaptus Mechanicus character, Tangida, the Skitarii Marshal. They joined the Tacticus ranks through their Motive Force event, and as a veteran warrior who has been privileged to receive enhanced augmentations, they are ready to employ sacred uplinks to refine their warriors' doctrines closer to holy perfection and lead their forces to victory. And he certainly is an interesting character. As someone with spawns, that's always going to be useful in any team, although maybe not in full Imperial teams, as we'll find out in a bit. As always in this series, we're going to take a look at three different things: how long it roughly takes to level him up to Diamond 2 when compared to the other characters, his traits and general usefulness, and how good he is in legendary events. I won't be looking too much into his usefulness in guild raids or tournaments, as I always leave that to our other wonderful content creators. But before we get into all that, let's quickly look at the recent changes to my Google Planner sheets. I finally upgraded my Google Planner Sheets to version 3.6 and there's a couple of changes here. I received some feedback from Persian Bond after last week's beginner's guide to character events. They asked if I could add the character event tab to the planner, and so I've gone ahead and done exactly that. It isn't particularly fancy, but it'll allow you to track your progress with your character release events. I'll try and update it each month with a new mission so that you can see what you need to do, and I'll also do a deeper video for the next release event showing some of the tips and tricks I use to get through some of the bigger missions. Outside of this, I've also added Actis, Tangida, and Vitruvius to the timeline. With the Christmas holidays, I hadn't quite got round to Actis or Vitruvius yet, but now they're added. As always, Google Sheets doesn't let me do an easy transfer for you, sadly, so the easiest way is just to copy your progress across in the Who You Own tab and Legendary Progress tabs. I know this is frustrating for you all, but I don't have an easy solution for it yet. Finally, I've added Tangida to all the Legendary sheets, which you will be able to go through later in detail. The biggest thing I still have in my Google Planner backlog is to fix the basic and premium missions when doing the legendary events so that they're much more accurate. Unfortunately, real life has been getting in the way of this, but hopefully it'll happen soon enough. And so hit that subscribe button to be kept up to date on any new updates with the Google Planner Sheets. If anyone sees any mistakes or has any feedback, as always, just let me know. Okay, so moving on to Tangida. Let's start by looking at roughly how long it takes to level from Stone 1 to Diamond 2. The reason I say roughly is because my sheets don't take into account all the extra ways you can get free energy, like in the tournament arena, nor getting items gifted from your guildmates, or buying items in the daily shop. It also doesn't take into account any hard to get items that haven't been added into lots of campaign missions yet. But even with all that in mind, it's always interesting to see how they compare to the other characters. As you might expect, Tangida falls into place near the other ad-mech characters, and is in fact the easiest to level out of his faction, but only by a little tickle. For those that prefer the visual graph, you can see him over there on the right hand side. So definitely worth considering again from this regard if you want somebody to be leveled up quickly, but let's see if he has anything worthwhile in his kit. So I'm still a little bit confused about ad-mechs being Imperial characters because they stick out a little bit right now as nearly the only mechanical characters in the Alliance. It's of course fine where you have mixed teams, but it does mean they're a little restricted for legendary events, and we'll see that later on in the video. But let's have a look at his traits anyway. So firstly, of course, he is an Imperial, and he does physical damage for 2 hits. He does ranged toxic damage for 1 hit, and due to how legendary events work, that's really interesting because it does mean that he qualifies for the max 1-hit events, which already makes him quite useful. With him also having physical damage, that's a lovely rare trait to have. He is of course mechanical, and I included him as a spawning character because even though he only spawns part of the time, he will spawn sometimes. Now you can obviously choose to have him not spawn empty, but I think that there are better characters available generally anyway. So where is he interesting? Actually, I think his best teammates will be Aleph Null, Makotep, Actis, and Anufet, due to his passive that allows all mechanical summons to attack his target. I think we could see some really crazy damages, as Makotep could trigger a bunch of summons to go and attack something, then Tangida could follow up and get them to attack a specific target, and then Actis could repair Tangida and make him do it again. Even with this just in mind, I think it'll be worth leveling up. Or his ability to add a lot of armor with his other passive, the Protector Imperative. Again, this is for mechanical characters and so could be pretty useful in other teams. For example, you could stick Revas, Alif-Null and himself into a corner and just have them live for quite some time. So there's definitely some things to think about with him. Just before we look at his legendary events, here's a quick word from today's sponsor.
In the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, stains still linger like heresy.
Witness the eradication of even the foulest heretical stains. Embrace the innovation unchanged in the last decamillennium. Flesh is fallible, but ritual honors the machine spirit. For the Omnissiah, behold, the Mechanicus sartorial sanctifier.
For the laundry battles ahead, cleanliness is next to godliness. Ave Imperator.
And if you want to wash away the stink of missing blackstone in your hands, then just use my Refer a Friend code in-game today to get 100 free blackstone. So let's have a look and see how well he does in legendary events. We're going to go through each one in turn, starting with the On-She event. In the Alpha track, he appears once in the max 2-hit battle. In the Beta track, he doesn't appear at all because he's an Imperial, but in the Gamma track, he appears 5 times, so definitely a character which is of interest here. And you can see he appears in the 2 most important ones as well, the Physical and the max 1-hit battle. Sadly, there's only one On-She event left, so we might not get time to level him up and actually see his use here. He finishes off with a pretty respectable 445 points. In the Shadow Sun event, it starts off in the same way. He appears once in the No Psychers battle. In the Beta track, he appears in the Mech, No Bolter and No Piercing battles. And again, as I mentioned previously, I'm not including him in the No Summons battles, even though you could potentially have him in there. And then in the Gamma track, he doesn't appear at all because it's not for Imperials, so not as good a performance in the Shadow Sun event. He finishes off with a pretty meager 230 points. In the Ragnar event, in the Alpha track, he's in the ranged and max 3 hits battles. In the Beta track, he's only in the physical battle, and then in the Gamma track, he's not in any battles again because it's not for Imperials, and so another measly score of 195 points. On to the newest legendary event, and the one for Vitruvius, his faction mate. Tangida appears 4 times in the Alpha track, in the No Psychic, Ranged, Max 1 Hit, and No Resilient battles. In the Beta, he appears in 2 battles, Max 2 Hits battles, and the No Infiltrate battles, and again, he could appear in the No Summons battles. But same as the last legendary events, he can't be used in the Gamma track, as Imperials can't be used, and so he ends up with a very average 375 points. So what does this mean for him overall? Well, he is currently 43rd position in terms of the overall best characters for legendary events. He has a combined score of 1,245, which makes him a pretty middle-of-the-road character for legendary events. His best legendary event is On-She, but he's only middle-of-the-road for the Vitruvius event. So overall, not an amazing character in terms of gathering points for legendary events, but I really do wonder if we're going to see some of that usefulness shine through when you pair him up with the Necrons or Revas. I'm really looking forward to hearing your feedback, but let's see how it goes. So, that's everything for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and please do let me know your thoughts below. Are you going to be using Tangida, or are you just leaving him on the scrap heap waiting?